Did you know the world's first civilization on Earth post-Great Flood was the Sumerian Mesopotamian civilization? Anthropological and archaeological evidence discovered in the past 100 years suggests that this civilization is the origin of all modern humans, known as Homo sapiens. Every human has some form of ancestry connected to Sumerian society, as each continent has aboriginal tribes originating from East Africa. Recently, archaeologists discovered the biblical Garden of Eden, nestled between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers in modern-day Iraq, within the Middle Eastern region of Africa. The Sumerians, the first modern human civilization post-flood, laid the foundation for human progress. They invented cuneiform writing, one of the earliest forms of writing. Their technological advancements included the wheel, plow, irrigation systems, and sailboats. They constructed towering ziggurats and developed complex legal and administrative systems. They also brewed beer and excelled in metallurgy and textiles. The Sumerians believed in mysterious giant beings called the Anunnaki, meaning those who came from heaven, whom they worshipped as gods. These beings became the subjects of the first written mythological stories on Earth. The mythologist Joseph Campbell, in his book, The Power of Myth, mentions finding that every ancient culture universally shared similar origin and mythological stories of the same gods in every continent, and the connections lead back to the most ancient civilization. Known as the black-headed people, the Sumerians were referred to as the Sun People or Adamites in various ancient texts. Step back in time to humanity's ancient ancestors in the fertile plains of ancient Mesopotamia and Sumer, where lush greenery and agricultural abundance flourished. Immerse yourself in the rich Sumerian arts, sciences, and culture of an advanced society that predates ancient Egypt and Greece. Picture the symmetrically structured city-states of Uruk, and Eridu, each a testament to the Sumerians' unique ingenuity. Imagine the first civilization of mankind being established after the biblical Great Flood transformed mud and clay into architectural marvels, erecting ziggurats that reached towards the heavens. In its heyday, the skyline of the Sumerian cities was punctuated by colossal temples nestled in the heart, where priests communed with the gods, and scholars transcribed the first written language, cuneiform, onto clay tablets. The Sumerians' intricate cuneiform writing system emerged around 3500 BCE. It involved pressing a wedge-shaped stylus into clay tablets, creating wedge-like impressions. Scribes initially, cuneiform served as a system of accounting for trade transactions. Over time, it evolved into a versatile script encompassing a wide range of subjects. Sumerians recorded religious hymns for the gods, laws, and history of their civilization, including the Epic of Gilgamesh and administrative documents, including the Sumerian king list. The script's adaptability contributed to its longevity, as it persisted through various Mesopotamian and Sumerian cultures for centuries, all the way to current day. Oxford Institute reported as of 2020 that 700 tablets that have not been translated or read. Majority of these tablets that are on public and translated are on display in England. However, most of the 700 tablets are with the Vatican, in the underground archives. Was the legendary home of Abraham, the father of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. He and his caravan carried the stories of their ancestors with them as they traveled from southern to northern Iraq, through Syria and into Egypt before settling in the land of Canaan, which is modern-day Israel. About 200 years ago, European archaeologists were digging in what is now the Middle East, mainly in Egypt located in North Africa and southern Mesopotamia, which is located in the country and territory of modern-day Iraq. They were searching for places mentioned in the Bible, works by Greek authors like Herodotus and Strabo, and journals of medieval and Renaissance travelers like Benjamin of Tudela and Pietro della Valle. Names like Babylon, Nineveh, and Ur were known, but their exact locations were unclear. By the early 1800s, archaeologists made significant discoveries. Englishman Claudius James Rich mapped the ruins of Babylon and Nineveh, finding bricks, tablets, clay cylinders, and boundary stones with mysterious markings. These were also found in Iran at sites like Persepolis and Bahistun. Scholars realized these markings were scripts of unknown languages. Deciphering one set, Old Persian helped unlock the others. The script found in Babylon and Nineveh was Akkadian, then called Babylonian, and the third script was Elamite. Akkadian, a Semitic language like Hebrew and Arabic, became well understood. In the mid-19th century, scholars suspected cuneiform, the written form of Akkadian, was not developed by the Babylonians and Assyrians, but by another people before them. Inscriptions mentioned Sumer and Akkad, indicating another place and people, the Sumerians. Early archaeologists had unknowingly discovered what is now considered the mother civilization of the Babylonians and Assyrians. Around 7000 to 6000 BC, people moved south along the Tigris and Euphrates rivers to the fertile floodplains of Mesopotamia, now Iraq, and northern Syria. Mesopotamia, meaning land between rivers, was ideal for large-scale farming due to its rich, fertile soil from river flooding. Farming had already begun thousands of years earlier in the Near East, in the Fertile Crescent, a region of productive land stretching from the eastern Mediterranean through Turkey and northern Iraq to the Persian Gulf. One of the early farming communities in central Mesopotamia was the Samarra culture, named after the site where it was first discovered. This culture dates back to between 6500 and 5500 BC. Samarra pottery has a distinctive style, often decorated with geometric images representing natural phenomena. The early farmers of this culture dug irrigation canals to control rivers and streams. Another widespread culture was the Halaf culture, active between 6500 and 5500 BC, with some estimates narrowing it to 5700 to 5000 BC. Like the Samarra, the Halaf culture produced distinctive and beautiful pottery that was widely traded throughout the Fertile Crescent. In return, the Halaf people received goods such as obsidian, bitumen, and seashells. They also created some of the earliest examples of stamp seals. After 6000 BC in southern Mesopotamia, changes began that set the stage for civilization. This started with the Ubaid culture, named after the site of Tel al-Ubaid, near the future Sumerian city of Ur, which began as an Ubaid settlement. The Ubaid culture dates from 5500 to 4000 BC. The exact origins of the Ubaid people are unknown, but they likely migrated from other parts of the Fertile Crescent. Most Ubaid sites were small villages, but by the late 5th to early 4th millennium BC, some settlements grew into towns with nearly 5,000 residents. They grew wheat, barley, and lentils, and raised livestock including cattle, goats, and sheep. Typical Ubaid villages had several one-story houses and larger storage facilities. Most Ubaid sites had a central earthen mound with a small building, believed to be an early temple and precursor to the ziggurat. The Ubaid also traded their unique hand-painted pottery and crafts such as figurines. Ubaid pottery was highly prized and found at multiple sites throughout the Middle East, including Turkey, Iran, Syria, and the southeastern Arabian Peninsula. Much of what we know about Ubaid culture comes from the ruins of Eridu, a city famous in Sumerian mythology as the home of the celestial water god Enki. Eridu was believed to be very ancient. According to the Sumerian king list, it was the first city where kingship was established. Archaeologists have determined that Eridu may have been inhabited as far back as 8000 BC, over 10,000 years ago. During the Ubaid period, Eridu was an ideal place to settle. It had plenty of fertile land for farming and abundant fish from nearby marshes close to the Gulf. Back then, the Persian Gulf shores were much further inland, making the area seem like a paradise in the otherwise harsh desert. At first, Eridu was a small village with a modest shrine to the water god Enki. Excavations show that Enki's sanctuary started as a small brick room, less than 8 square meters, with an altar and a stand for ritual offerings. Ashes and fish bones found there suggest these offerings were part of religious rituals. Archaeologists believe the people of Eridu held communal feasts with prayers, singing, and music to honor Enki. Out of all the male gods, Enki was the most loved by the Sumerians. It is said that Enki, the water god, engineered the black-headed people of modern-day India and Africa, who are considered the closest ancestors to the Sumerians alongside the Ethiopians. As the village of Eridu grew, so did the temple. By 4500 BC, the temple stood on a platform about a meter high and continued to expand over the centuries into a ziggurat, a step-like pyramid. Prosperous towns like Eridu attracted travelers and merchants who visited its temples, such as those dedicated to Enki, to make offerings. They brought items from their own villages to donate or trade for local goods like barley, sheep, or Eridu's distinctive pottery. An example of international trade in Eridu was copper. Copper, a valuable metal not found in southern Mesopotamia, had to be imported from places like modern Oman or Turkey. Remarkably, Ubaid period artisans in Eridu were already forging basic copper items. Another imported item was obsidian, likely from Turkey. Most early settlements were small, with a few hundred people. Exceptions like Eridu and Tel Zidon in Syria had populations of around 3,000. However, less than a millennium later, ancient Mesopotamia saw cities with populations in the tens of thousands. One such city was Uruk, located less than 200 kilometers northwest of Eridu. Zechariah Sitchin, a prominent Sumerian researcher and author once ridiculed for his views, presents an intriguing theory in his first book of the Earth Chronicles series, *12th Planet*. Sitchin proposes that the Anunnaki, whom the Sumerians referred to as gods, were not mythical beings but advanced extraterrestrial humanoids. According to his translations of the Sumerian text, the 7 tablets of creation, which he claims is the template for the modern Bible, the Anunnaki came from a red planet in dire need of saving. This planet, which Sitchin refers to as the 12th celestial body of our galaxy, allegedly passes near Earth every 3,000 years, or one Shah. Sitchin suggests that the Anunnaki were not just creators of humanity, but genetic engineers who modified primates in Africa 250,000 years ago, setting the course for modern human evolution. Though his beliefs in the ancient alien theory were widely ridiculed during his lifetime, recent discoveries have led some in the scientific and historical communities to re-examine his work. In Zechariah Sitchin's *Earth Chronicles*, he mentions that the Anunnaki shared their technology with the Sumerians. Standing tall and powerful, their godlike intelligence and similar appearance awed the ancient Sumerians. Before the Anunnaki spread across Earth to create new civilizations, they first taught the Sumerians advanced skills, fueling technological growth and cultural exchange. Skilled artisans crafted pottery and sculptures, reflecting their advanced society and reverence for their extraterrestrial mentors. A thriving economy, a society with such extensive material enterprises, could not have developed without an efficient system of transportation. The Sumerians used their 2 great rivers and the artificial network of canals for waterborne transportation of people, goods, and cattle. Some of the earliest depictions show what were undoubtedly the world's first boats. In many early texts, it is stated that the Sumerians engaged in deep water seafaring, using a variety of ships to reach faraway lands in search of metals, rare woods, stones, and other materials unobtainable in Sumer proper. An Akkadian dictionary of the Sumerian language was found to contain a section on shipping listing 105 Sumerian terms for various ships by their size and purpose. In 1956, Professor Samuel Kramer, one of the great Sumerologists of our time, reviewed the literary legacy found beneath the mounds of Sumer. The Table of Contents of *. From the tablets of Sumer * is a gem in itself. For each one of the 25 chapters described a Sumerian first, including the first schools, the first bicameral congress, the first historian, the first pharmacopoeia, the first farmer's almanac, the first cosmogony and cosmology, the first job, the first proverbs and sayings, the first literary debates, the first Noah, the first library catalogue, and man's first heroic age, his first law codes and social reforms, his medicine, agriculture, and search for world peace and harmony. Mesopotamian gods were worshipped in temple towns as patron deities, each town having a temple with a statue of their patron god who resided within. Nana, the patron deity of Ur in modern southern Iraq, was revered as the father of Utu and Inanna, known as the timekeeper. Enlil, the feared god of the air and father of Nana, held the title of Yahweh in the 7 tablets of creation and the Epic of Atrahasis. Enlil was the leader of the gods on earth for a time in the Sumerian pantheon, alongside his older half-brother Enki. The first prestigious schools were established in Sumer as a direct outgrowth of the invention and introduction of writing. The archaeological evidence is actual school buildings and also shows indications of a formal system of education by the beginning of the 3rd millennium BC. There were literally thousands of scribes in Sumer, ranging from junior scribes to high scribes. Discipline was strict. One school alumnus describes on a clay tablet how he had been flogged for missing school, for insufficient neatness, for loitering, for not keeping silent, for misbehaving, and even for not having appealing handwriting. Eventually, the Sumerians began assigning Anunnaki gods to specific planets in the solar system, based on their characteristics and qualities. This can allude to the fact that if the ancient alien theory is incorrect, then how is it possible that the Sumerians were so accurate about the planets and the solar system? In the early years of Sumeria, the sun is represented by Utu. The moon is associated with Nana. Mars is known as Gugulana, the bull of heaven. Mercury is identified with Enki. Jupiter corresponds to Enlil, and Venus is represented by Inanna. Saturn is associated with Ninurta, the shepherd and farmer. The Sumerians created their calendar based on a sexagesimal base 60 numeral system. They defined a circle as 360 degrees. A lunar year consists of 12 moon cycles, each 30 days long, totaling 360 days. A celestial year is divided into 12 aspects of the night sky, each 30 degrees, also totaling 360 degrees. A solar year comprises 360 days, each with 24 hours, plus 5 additional days. An hour is divided into 60 minutes and a minute into 60 seconds. The number 360 is divisible by every number from 1 to 10 except for 7. Consequently, 7 was regarded as a mysterious number that symbolized both chaos and order. They created a 7-day week based on the 4 phases of the moon. The first day of each month began when the crescent moon appeared at sunset. The 7th, 14th, and 21st were considered auspicious days where anything could happen. The 28th day was a day of rest until another new crescent moon appeared, which was seen as a sign from the gods. The Sumerians are also credited with the creation of the first astronomical grid that defined the 12 aspects of the zodiac. The stars and planets were seen as messengers who held vast amounts of information. They were consulted on a continual basis. 12 signs of the zodiac. To date, Babylonian astrology was first recorded on 70 cuneiform tablets containing 7,000 messages called Enuma Elish, which appointed scribes to record daily tasks, and eventually the history of the Sumerians and the Anunnaki ancient aliens. The fall equinox occurred in the 7th moon of Scales, which was later called Libra, or the Scales of Justice. The scales represented the balance between the spring and fall equinox, when day and night are equal. Based on the precession of the equinoxes, the autumnal equinox now occurs in Virgo Virgin. Amidst the hustle and bustle of urban life, the Sumerians revered the Anunnaki, extraterrestrial deities bearing human-like features and emotions, yet tinged with divine complexity, with some exhibiting traits akin to godly arrogance. The Sumerian pantheon boasted a rich tapestry of gods and goddesses, each with a unique domain and rule over the people and cities. Temples were not merely architectural wonders, but gateways to the celestial realms, connecting the mortal humans to the Anunnaki alien rulers and kings. Rituals and ceremonies permeated daily life, with the ziggurats standing as conduits for worship and praise between the earthly and the Anunnaki extraterrestrials. The third region of Sumer was called Ur, which is the Akkadian name for Urim. The rulers of Sumer and Akkad, when the nuclear calamity happened, are known as kings of the third dynasty of Ur, the biblical Ur of the Chaldees, from which biblical Abraham migrated to Haran, into the land of Canaan, which is modern-day Israel. The Canaanites were the first group of Europeans who are also connected to the Hittites, the ancestral brothers of the later kingdom of Egypt. Early archaeologists have found many similarities between Canaanites' gods and Egyptian gods. The first written histories were written as epic tales and later evolved into myths, the first being called the Epic of Gilgamesh, composed in Sumerian around 2100 BCE, is a literary masterpiece. It narrates the adventures of Gilgamesh, a king seeking immortality, exploring themes of friendship, mortality, and the human condition. The epic is a significant cultural and literary contribution, providing insights into Sumerian beliefs, values, and storytelling traditions. Later, as the first civilization flourished, the Anunnaki began to appoint humans to rule as kings for them, which would one day lead to the ideas of pharaohs in Egypt, communicators to the gods and many times their own kin. In their theological pursuits, they codified the earliest known legal system, the Code of Ur-Nammu, ushering in an era of societal order and justice. The Sumerians documented advanced medical knowledge on clay tablets, revealing a sophisticated understanding of diseases and treatments. The Diagnostic Handbook, a compendium of symptoms and treatments, showcases their medical expertise. Surgical instruments, such as bronze lancets, were used in medical procedures. The Sumerians' medical knowledge laid the foundation for future advancements in the field. Sumer's economy thrived on agriculture, supported by an advanced irrigation system. The fertile soil yielded crops like barley and wheat. The surplus allowed for trade with neighboring regions, fostering economic prosperity. Sumerians engaged in barter and trade, exchanging goods such as textiles, metals, and agricultural products. This economic foundation facilitated the growth of urban centers. Their society was structured hierarchically. At the top were priests and kings, followed by free citizens and then slaves. The city-states had administrative structures overseeing taxation, justice, and defense. Labor specialization was a hallmark, with individuals mastering specific trades, from metalworking and pottery to farming and writing. This specialization contributed to the economic and technological advancements of Sumer. In ancient civilizations, it is believed that much of the Sumerians' knowledge was imparted to the Anunnaki as well. The Sumerian pantheon of gods, who were recognized as myths but are now believed to be interdimensional extraterrestrials, consists of the basis of all religions and mythologies on the planet. The Holy Father and King of all gods is King Anu of Nibiru. Enki, also known as Ea, was the god of water and earth, which was named after him. Enlil, his youngest, was given rulership of all earth and the early cities of Sumer and Babylon. During this time, the gods and men lived among each other. The Anunnaki made the earthlings worship them in song. They constructed temples for food offerings and praising concerts. Even the king of the cosmos, King Anu, had a temple built in his name when he descended from the heavenly motherships. The praising and worship would give energy and power to them, especially in song and poem. It is believed by this time the worship gene was implanted in the human DNA chromosomes. According to Zechariah Sitchin's excerptions, the Sumerians were the world's most ancient, earliest multicultural inhabitants of Mesopotamia before the Great Flood. All of humanity was mostly dark melanated until the birth of Zizdura, biblical Noah. The Sumerians primarily had dark and brown skin, brown hair, and some Sumerian royals had blonde hair, blue or green eyes, with dark or light skin. The Sumerian people were referred to as the Adamites by the Igigi watcher Anunnaki. They were credited with remarkable ingenuity by these extraterrestrial beings, often likened to dark North African peoples like Ethiopians and dark and light melanated African, Asiatic, and Israeli peoples, believed to be the common ancestors of all modern humans. With the oldest hominid skeleton to date being found in East Africa by anthropologists. The Sumerians were known for stylizing their hair to resemble the styles of the warrior gods. This was the style of braiding or dreading, in ancient indigenous, African and Nordic cultures. According to ancient texts, the skin of earthlings was genetically marked into 48 shades of the Mesopotamian genomes, and the biblical Noah, known as Zisudra, was a giant man with albinism and a king of a region of Sumer. His line is where many of Indo-European and Asiatic descent originate, alongside biblical Cain. References in ancient texts, such as the Egyptian Book of the Dead and Sitchin's Lost Book of Enki *, depict the black lands of the Sumerians, governed by Dumuzi, Enki's youngest Anunnaki son and the god of water. Enki, the prince of earth and Nibiru, is known for being dark violet-skinned, or sometimes shades of blue, green, or gold. In the Vedic texts of the Mahabharata *, Krishna, who is the equivalent of Enki, was mentioned as Nila Mega Shyama, which means dark blue as rain-filled clouds. The Vedic texts describe gods bearing children with humans, resulting in offspring with varying skin tones and features, from extremely bright with little melanin to extremely dark with harsh melanin, including blonde hair and various eye colors. Both the Sumerians and Vedic texts mention that without dark colors, there would be no shades of lighter colors in skin tones. An ancient Sumerian psalm venerates Enlil, the alien god of Sumer, Lord who knows the destiny of the land, trustworthy in his calling. Enlil, who knows the destiny of Sumer, trustworthy in his calling. Father Enlil, Lord of all the lands, Lord of the rightful commands. Father Enlil, shepherd of the black and brown-headed ones, we shall never leave the dark lands of the sun. From the mountain of sunrise to the mountain of sunset, there is no other lord in the land, you alone are king. The Sumerians revered Enlil out of both fear and gratitude. Enlil and his offspring later became gods of the Indo-European Hittites and Canaanites during the beginnings of Babylon and Assyria. In biblical texts, Enlil and his son Ninurta take on the title of Yahweh. Enlil's brother Enki, referred to as a snake, revealed the truth of good and evil to Adamu and Eve, and ruled for thousands of years before the Great Flood. The 7 tablets of creation describe Earth being divided into regions by the royal family of Anu. The first region, Kemet, was inhabited by Sumerians, who later migrated to become the original Egyptians under Thoth, the god of Israel, and later Amun-Ra, the son of Enki. The second region, Sumer, was allotted to Enlil's sons, who became the gods of Israel. The third region was given to Utu and Zisudra, biblical Noah, who was albino, and his descendants. Sumerian genetic markers, influenced by Ninurta and Nana, led to the emergence of light and brown-skinned Asiatic Indo-European people, descendants of Noah and Cain. These people, relocated by the Anunnaki goddess Inanna, spread across Asia Minor, the Aryan Caucasus Mountains, the Aegean Sea, and modern-day Israel, formerly Canaan. Ninurta genetically modified them to adapt to harsh, colder climates, establishing multiple cultures and languages. To keep track of the gods' activities on Earth, it is theorized the Anunnaki and temple bureaucrats developed an early writing system around 3300 BC, using small clay tablets. This first writing, called Proto-cuneiform, used pictographs to record the origin story of humans, the history of the Anunnaki, the transfer of commodities like grain, beer, and livestock. It had over 700 signs and likely evolved from a more primitive system. The pictographs were simple, such as a bull's head for cattle or a barley stalk for barley. Some symbols' meanings were clearer when paired with others, like a bowl and a human head to mean eat. Over time, these signs evolved into cuneiform, which used wedge-shaped impressions made with a reed stylus on clay tablets. These tablets were then dried in the sun to make the impressions permanent. Cuneiform was suitable for the Sumerian language because most Sumerian words were monosyllabic, allowing nearly every word to be represented by a single symbol. Discoveries and translations of cuneiform documents give us insights into ancient Mesopotamian life. Cylinder seals were another communication tool. Made from materials like stone, clay, metal, bone, or ivory, they had designs carved into them. Rolling a cylinder seal across wet clay produced a continuous impression, used to seal storeroom locks, goods, and important documents, often confirming the sender's identity or authority. The influence of the Uruk culture spread throughout the ancient Near East between the 4th and 3rd centuries BC. Archaeologists have found Uruk-style pottery and architecture in Syria, Iran, and Turkey, brought by trading colonies that sought raw materials like copper, obsidian, lead, gold, silver, wood, and stone. Eventually, they even imported tin for bronze making. Before kings appeared in Mesopotamia, high-ranking priests held power. They organized the population, collected taxes, and distributed goods and services, believed to directly represent the gods or understand their desires. Divine intervention alone couldn't protect people from foreign enemies. Priests and priestesses, though pious, were not necessarily good warriors or military strategists. As cities grew, competition for resources and farmland increased, leading to conflicts between city-states. Strong leaders were needed to lead men into battle, likely giving rise to the first kings in ancient Mesopotamia. Initially, kings might have been temporary war leaders, but by 2900 BC, kingship became hereditary, marking the start of the early dynastic period, which lasted nearly 600 years. Rulers had titles like In, meaning lord, Ensi, meaning governor or local king, and Lugal, meaning great king. A Lugal might rule over multiple cities, with several Ensis governing on his behalf. Cities were often surrounded by high walls to protect temples, administrative buildings, palaces, houses, and residence. The most important structure was the ziggurat, a large, step pyramid temple considered the earthly home of the city's patron god. It was run by priests and was the city's chief landowner and wealthiest institution. Sumerian gods, like later Greek and Roman ones, took human form and behaved like people, with emotions and occasional interference in human affairs. There were gods for various aspects of life and nature, such as the sky, sun, moon, plow, bricks, and writing. And the sky god had his main temple in Uruk, but the city's patron deity was Inanna, the goddess of love and war. By the early dynastic period, Enlil, the god of air, was considered the most powerful, with his sanctuary in Nippur. Enki, the god of fresh water and patron of Eridu, Utu, the sun god associated with justice and patron of Sipa and Lhasa, and Nana, the moon god and patron of were also important deities. Ningirsu, associated with farming and war, was the patron deity of Lagash, with his main temple in Girsu. By 2500 BC, royal inscriptions and portraits of individual kings appeared, helping us understand Sumer's political history. One early inscription depicts Ur-Nanshe, ruler of Lagash, who reigned around 2494 to 2465 BC. One famous depiction of him is a limestone relief. The king, depicted with a basket of clay bricks on his head, is currently in the Louvre. This relief shows him performing one of his key religious duties, caring for his kingdom's temples, especially those dedicated to Ningirsu, Lagash's patron deity. Ur-Nanshe also served as Lagash's military leader, engaging in wars with neighboring city-states like and Umma. In the 24th century BC, Lagash, once strong under kings like Ur-Nanshe, fell under priestly control. The priests, including ruler Lugalanda, imposed heavy taxes, leading to widespread debt and corruption. This hardship caused parents to sell their children into slavery to pay debts. After 6 years, Urukagina overthrew Lugalanda, reformed Lagash, and possibly introduced the first written code of laws. These reforms aimed to protect common people from exploitation. However, Lagash's weakness invited attack. In 2341 BC, Lugalzagesi of Umma conquered Lagash, destroying its capital and temples, including Ningirsu's. A scribe from Lagash cursed Lugalzagesi for the destruction, lamenting the city's fate. Lugalzagesi claimed to control all of Sumer, boasting an empire from the Persian Gulf to the Mediterranean. However, modern scholars doubt he truly ruled all the lands he claimed. Sargon of Akkad, also known as Sargon the Great, was a seminal figure in ancient Mesopotamian history, born around 2334 BCE. Sargon rose from humble origins to establish the Akkadian Empire, becoming one of history's first great conquerors. According to legend, Sargon was born to a lowly family and cast adrift in a basket on the Euphrates River, where he was found and raised by a gardener. He eventually became the cupbearer to Ur-Zababa, the king of Kish, a position of considerable influence that set the stage for his rise to power. Sargon's rise to prominence began with his defeat of Lugal-Zaggisi, the ruler of Umma, who had united much of Sumer under his control. With Lugal-Zaggisi's defeat, Sargon established the Akkadian Empire, the first empire in history to encompass multiple city-states and regions. His empire extended across Mesopotamia and into neighboring territories, marking the first time a single ruler controlled such a vast expanse. Sargon's administrative reforms, including the establishment of Akkadian as the official language and the centralization of power, laid the groundwork for a new era of imperial rule in the ancient Middle East. In addition to his military and administrative achievements, Sargon is believed to have had a significant personal connection with the divine Anunnaki. According to some accounts, he mated with the warrior goddess Inanna, also known as Ishtar. This union supposedly produced Enheduanna, a demi-goddess and high priestess who would leave an indelible mark on history. Enheduanna, born around 2285 BCE, was an ancient Mesopotamian high priestess and the world's first known poet. She is recognized as the earliest known female author in history, credited with composing hymns and poems dedicated to the goddess Inanna. Enheduanna's literary works, known as the Sumerian temple hymns and the Exaltation of Inanna, are notable for their deep religious and emotional themes, providing a profound insight into Sumerian spirituality and culture. As the high priestess of the moon god Nana, in the city of Ur, Enheduanna held a position of great religious and political influence. Her writings not only express her devotion to Inanna, but also reflect the complex interplay between the divine and the earthly realms in Sumerian thought. One of her most popular hymns and poems is titled The Lady of the Largest Heart. The poem reads,
Lady of all powers, in whom light appears, radiant one beloved of heaven and earth, tiara-crowned priestess of the highest God, my lady. You are the guardian of all greatness. Your hand holds the 7 powers. You lift the powers of being. You have hung them over your fingers. You have gathered the many powers. You have clasped them like necklaces onto your breast. Like a dragon, you poisoned the land when you roared at the earth. In your thunder, nothing green could live. A flood fell from the mountain. You, Inanna, foremost in heaven and earth, lady riding a beast, you rained fire on the heads of men, taking your power from the highest. Following the commands of the highest, lady of all the great rights, who can understand all that is yours, in the forefront of the battle. All is struck down by you. O winged lady, like a bird you scavenge the land. Like a charging storm, you charge. Like a roaring storm, you roar. You thunder in thunder, snort in rampaging winds. Your feet are continually restless. Carrying your harp of sighs, you breathe out the music of mourning. It was in your service that I first entered the holy temple, I, Enheduanna, the highest priestess. I carried the ritual basket, I chanted your praise. Now I have been cast out to the place of lepers. Day comes, and the brightness is hidden around me. Shadows cover the light. Drape it in sandstorms. My beautiful mouth knows only confusion. Even my sex is dust.
The Sumerians being the templates for humanity, we know today is still a new discovery. But once many learn about this ancient society and see how every human person derives from this civilization based upon the archaeological, anthropological, and genetic genealogy discoveries in the past 150 years. This history reveals a new engineered humanoid species taught great power and technology, but led astray by false gods who were ancient aliens with advanced technology, and possibly the great mythological sunken city of Atlantis and Lemuria. However, it also suggests that humans have the potential to surpass not only advanced extraterrestrials technologically, but also spiritually. Understanding humanity's first civilization and past can help us resist elite manipulation and stay on the path of light in the universe, as all beings are connected and come from the same source. The power to shape reality lies within humanity, gifted by the creator of all. To learn more details about the first civilization of the Sumerians, we recommend reading 12th Planet by Zechariah Sitchin, which will give you a more in-depth analysis of their everyday life and the mysterious Anunnaki ancient aliens who became mythological gods to modern day. If you're new here, please leave a comment and explore our other episodes where we delve into these topics further, always checking our references and sources in the description. If you enjoy this content, consider subscribing to Astral Legends for more ancient myths, legends, and cosmic mysteries. May the eternal light guide your path, and we'll see you in the next episode.